Alright, I'm gonna give a quick tutorial on how to get multiplayer working for our game Ghost Hosts. Um, the first thing you want to do is uh, figure out what IP address your computer's on. So to do that, you want to click on the Start menu, go to Command Prompt, and then type in ipconfig, and this will tell you kind of like what your computer's using. What you specifically want to see is this IPv4 address. This is your local internet address, but then also um, there's this default gateway, and this is kind of like your router's internet address. And what you want to do is you want to copy that number, go to Chrome, okay, and paste that number into the URL and access it. And it should take you to your router's kind of configuration page. Now every router is different, so I'll just try to give you some like general, I'll just give you some general pointers on how to navigate this. You can Google your router too and figure out exactly how to do what I'm doing. But first off, if you have a router password, you want to enter that in. If you don't have one, and it's asking for password, it's usually admin, ADMIN, or root, ROOT, or it might be something weird that your router came with, like you can check the router, or you can Google it, like if you haven't configured it, if you Google the router and say like default password, most routers have the same kind of default password. And you can find it. I did set mine, so I'll just enter it in. And once you get into the router, you're going to be looking for something called port forwarding. And basically what it means is like right now your router is serving like all of the computers on, sorry, I don't have to make this small. It's serving all of the computers on your network. But your computer is this specific IPv4 address. And so you have to tell your router to redirect like traffic from the outside world that's coming through a specific port to your computer. Okay, because if you don't say that, then your router will just say like, I don't know where this goes, I'm just gonna drop the packet. So you go to for me it's under for me it's under security, and then apps and gaming, and it's called port forwarding, and you only have to do single port forwarding. So you just click single port forwarding, and then you could add a new thing. You can call it whatever you want, like Ghost Hosts. Type in the external port. This is going to be whatever you're using in the game. So you can make this number up. The only thing is it can't be a number that's already used. So you can try, like, I think the default port's 1234. So you can try to do forward 1234. And you're going to say, if you have an option, I mean, choose TCP over UDP. I think the game's using TCP, but just be safe and say both. And you can delete this after you play test the game. And then it will ask for your what device you want to forward that to, and I want to forward it to this 1.129. So I type in 1 and 129. Okay, and then apply that. And again, my router is most likely different than your router, so you might have to Google specifically, how to set up the ports. And normally up here, like when you go to this router page, there might be a help menu. Yeah, like this help menu that might tell you exactly what router you're using. Like, I don't know. But you can like poke around in here, and there should be like, it will tell you like, oh, you're on the like Linksys, I'm an E3000 router or something, and I somehow found that by poking around in here. Okay, so anyway, once you've port forwarded it, that's good. The other thing is, I don't know if you need to do this, but we're going to be on the safe side and do it anyway. So now the router is going to be giving all of this external traffic to your computer, and your computer firewall might actually be blocking the traffic. So to do that, you want to type in, firewall, and then go down here, and you have two options. One, you can just turn off the firewall. So like here I can do like private network, turn off the firewall, public network, turn off the firewall. You probably only need the public network, but there's 3 firewalls. The domain network's the other one. Just turn them all off, and then like everything's going to go through your firewall. You could do that, or the other option is you can click on this advanced settings tab. Okay, and then go to inbound rules. All right, and then right click. Oops, sorry. How do you do? Right click on inbound rule, do new rule, and you'd let a port through. So you click port, next. Again, it's TCP or UDP. I think you only need TCP, so we'll just try it with TCP. And the specific port will be 1234. It's the same port that we port forwarded through. Allow the connection, and hit next, and you can call this like ghost host. And again, you can delete this this rule after you're done playtesting it. Sorry, it's kind of, I know, complicated to do this, but that's just how it goes. So anyway, once this is enabled, then this should like just let this port information through your firewall. Okay. Good, and then now you should be ready to play test the game. So to play test the game, you can do you run the game. So here's the build. This is the same build that we gave you. This is for Windows, though I can't test out the Mac version, but one of our partners has a Mac and it worked multiplayer for them, so I think it should be fine. And then again, you have to have one person host the game, and all the other people will be clients, okay? And so to mimic that, and I wish I could do this over the network to make sure it was working, but it should work. I'm going to just launch 2 versions of the game, okay? And so one of these will be the host, and the other one will be the client. So if you're a host, and to be clear, only the host has to like do that port forwarding stuff. Everybody else should be fine, okay? If you're hosting the game, so I'll have this one host the game, you make sure this host server is checked, and then it will ask for your IP port and the number. And what you're going to do is you're going to type in this IPv4 address. This is your local internet address if you're hosting the game. So I'll copy that in there, and then you can put colon, and then the port number that we're using, we did 1234. If you don't use anything, I think it defaults to 1234, but we'll just be pedantic and make sure that we type in 1234. And go ahead and start the game. It will say, do you want to go through the network? And I say, of course, let this thing go through the network. Okay. And you can see I'm running here, and if you look in the log, it says I started the server on this address, and it actually connects to itself. Like, so you're the first connection in the server, okay? Then what a client is going to do is they're going to go over here, and they're going to uncheck the host server box because they're not hosting the game. They're just connecting to you. And they're going to need to know your IP address and whatever port you're running the server on. So to get that, the host will go to Google and just type in what's my IP address. Okay, and you want a IPv4 address, so this number right here. You would give this to your clients, your other friends, and this is basically like how they can access your computer across the internet. So you give this to your playtesting clients. They type in that number, all right, and then they hit start, and it will say they connected to it. Even if it fails, it will say it connected to it. So it's kind of a little misleading. If it failed and it didn't connect to it, it will time out eventually, and you'll see a timeout message. But anyway, the client, you can see here, it connected client 2, and so now there's 2 of us. Now you can keep collecting clients, and you can connect up to four people, so 3 other people can join the network. But whenever you're ready, to test, you can click this enter game button, and it will basically start the game for both of you, okay? And that's the host does that. What was I going to say? I think that's everything. Oh, if this port forwarding stuff is too complicated, and it might be, and I apologize for that, what you can do is you can try like a external port forwarding service, like log me in. I think Hamachi, yeah. Hamachi. This is basically like a program that will do like port routing for you. And you can download this. There's other ones too that you can use, but this is just the one that comes to the top of my head. Basically, if you've ever hosted a Minecraft server, you've probably used like this to do the port forwarding or something like that, unless you've manually done it like I've done it. And it's the same method. You just have to get that external traffic into your computer so it knows what to do. Sorry, it's a little cumbersome. Oh, the other thing is too, if all else fails, if you still want to, like, if you just can't get the multiplayer working and the single player is not working, you can play the multiplayer by yourself. And so to do that, again, you could test it out by running, having those multiple windows open. So like here's one window and here's one window. And without even doing any router configuration or anything like that, if I just leave this field blank, and I can start the game, and it will start it on my local network, which is like my computer, like it's local connection. So it will say like 127. That means it's like it's just running on my computer. And on the client side, you can uncheck this host server and connect, and it will just connect to your local computer. Okay, and if it's going through your local computer, you shouldn't have to do any firewall rules. You shouldn't have to mess with your router because everything's just handled like inside your computer. And then you can test out multiplayer like by yourself. Worst case scenario, and basically just whichever window you clicked on is going to be the window you're controlling. Cool. I hope that helps. I hope it's not too complicated. I'm sorry for the confusions. I'm sorry single player didn't work. I didn't think single player didn't work, but we did test out multiplayer and it worked when we shipped it to you, at least on our computers. And we tested it over the internet, and we tested it on a Mac and a PC. So hopefully you won't run into any issues. The only kind of catch-22 I want to be specific with you is if you're this IP address here, it can't be like a URL. So like I don't know if it will work with IPv6. So make sure it's an IPv4 address, and it can't be a URL. I think those are the only two things I've got to say, and I hope that helps. All right, thanks. Bye.